Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I am Sunny Pancholi, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. And by bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulas for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge sharing community. We have one such corporate stalwart on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. Anil Varghese Vaidian. With a career spanning over 2 decades through the realms of life and health insurance and health tech, characterized by his unwavering commitment to achieving top-line value targets and fostering growth, he has consistently demonstrated exceptional leadership and strategic prowess. He is now a part of a new startup company, Geras Health, as a CEO and co-founder, where he plans to revolutionize the Indian and global health monitoring and support system through cutting-edge AI-enabled technology. He is also a highly followed thought leader with his regular content on LinkedIn, where he talks about trends, facts, and experiences around insurance, health and wellness, life concepts, and leadership. Welcome to FaceTime with Leaders. We are thrilled to have you here today. Your expertise and insights will be invaluable to our viewers.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunny. And thank you, WDC, for bringing this forum out. And when you started off saying that industry stalwart, I can only say that I'm just starting off. So those are big tags. But thank you so much for this opportunity to share my thoughts with you and the team.
So, Mr. Anil, could you let our viewers know in brief about your career journey so far?
Sure. So, my journey is started as a very, very basic at the front line. So I kind of come up the hard way, you can say. And I started off immediately after graduation. I moved into an industrial selling experience, frontline, and those days it's been Ghatkopar in Bombay, where I used to be peddling, industrial chemicals to paint manufacturers, tire manufacturers. And honestly speaking, I think that was where I could understand the power of relationships, customer insights, thought of that, and of course, no shortcuts to hard work. So it was very tough, but I think those were the initial days which really were formative, I would call it. And I was there. From there, I moved into the consumer durable segment. So I worked with companies like BPL, Onida, Whirlpool of India, and basically into dealer network, distribution network, and setting up that. And that's where I think I could gather a lot of understanding, knowledge, and skill sets around basically distribution and the high end selling, which you call it, right? And the sell in, sell out, and what custom perceives versus what you get. All that kind of concept became clear. Um, so I was there for almost 9 to 10 years in that industry. Uh, and what I could sense by that time is that there is a change which is happening. And the change I was talking about was when year 2001, when government privatized the life insurance sector. And suddenly there were almost 20 odd players who opt in to this industry. And I could clearly see that there is a boom happening, and there were clear signs of a new growth vertical. And having spent 10 years, I thought this is a time for me to get some new exposure and experiences. And I think that's one of the, I think, best decisions I took because that kind of helped me to move into a career which even now, if you ask me, is the result of that. So I worked with some big, great companies like Max Life, Reliance, then Bharti AXA, and Birla. So all big names of life insurance. I kind of spent considerable time. And it also gave me an opportunity to work at the front line as a branch manager, right? As a regional manager, as a zonal manager. Then I also got opportunity to move because of my keen interest in data analytics and the trends. I also was fortunate enough to get opportunity to work in the head office in the strategy roles multiple times and work with some great partners like Axis Bank with McKinsey, which kind of really helped me to hone, I would say, my thinking, the box, strategic thinking, articulation and presentations. All this kind of really got honed after I moved into the strategic roles. And around that time was when I also saw, because as the role of a in a life insurance, a branch manager, especially, right? And when you're managing uh, the agent network, okay, the agency sales, you have to stand up, train, deliver, and I could see, and you have to meet customers, and I could see that there's a huge gap in terms of understanding, in terms of life insurance, health, wellness, and I used to just love training and give insights. Uh, and I think in somewhere it's all put together. It's like there's a famous, I think, interview of Steve Jobs where he talks about connecting the dots. So when I connect the dots, I think from the industrial selling to the this tenure I had last with Bharti is where I kind of decided that it's time for me to start something of my own. My experience of over 25 years, right, is the right time to now put this into practice and something which I'm very passionate about health, about wellness. I think I got an opportunity to start something of my own, and I will share that in further also that somewhere in between when I saw the change in the trends, I could see the internet, the IoT, the AI, the machine learning, all this being the big buzzwords. And when the COVID happened, I got an opportunity to really I had some time because you had all the work from home, right? And I used this work from home opportunity to skill myself and did a beautiful program on AI from in fact, I was the first batch from IM Calcutta on AI led marketing. And that opened my mind that how we can kind of combine both AI, machine learning, and the emerging technologies to life insurance as such. And that's how the new role that I'm learning now. So I co-founded a new company now. It's very recent called Geras Health, which uses AI technology to give you on the spot 8 to 9 health vitals on a mobile screen. And using this and putting add-ons to that, I am really hoping that I could really help Indian market, especially insurance, health, and all, and other corporates revolutionize the way we are looking at health. Health in your hand. That's how I'm looking at it.
So, Anil, thank you so much for the excellent start to this interview. Your career journey is truly inspiring. Okay, so continuing on with our conversation, viewers would like to know what are some of the biggest challenges you have faced in your professional life and how have you overcome them?
Sure. So, Sunny, honestly, bring across all the challenges, it's like a long list, But paucity of time understanding this interview. Let me pick up two, three, which could also be in some way articulated as a challenge, which and how overcome it. Some messages around that. So let me start with my early career, right? When I started off with when I moved into I said initially I was in industrial selling, and then I moved into the white goods. So the white good entry was not easy. So when I came back to Bangalore, that's where I started off my white good journey. I started with a small company called Ogold Stabilizer, in fact, which is not there now anymore, actually. So as you know, stabilizers those days, for every refrigerator, every TV that you buy, you need to have a stabilizer along with it, right? Nowadays, of course, you have fluctuation-proof TVs and refrigerators. So Ogold was a new name. Those days, V-Guard used to be the big name in stabilizers. So, and this is typically a market ruled by big dealers and distributors. So when I started with this small company, Ogold, it was difficult for me to enter into the market. And I was the only person, in fact, initially, and one more person was joined later. So getting an entry into dealer network was the toughest thing. And there were a few big names, dealers over there. So you could either go to them or go to the small dealers. In my thought, I thought, let me first go to the big dealer because I knew that if they start taking it, right, then the word of mouth will go and others will take it. But that is easier said than done. So there's one big dealer over there. I'm not naming it right now, but in Bangalore. So I went and spoke to him. He said, "No, not interested." He in fact ignored me, to put very bluntly, But I was persistent, and what I thought is that I have to crack it, and that was the junoon you had that point of time. Isko todna hai. And so I kept on going there, started sitting with him, talking to him, talking about what is happening in the industry. And while every day, 3 to 4 hours was go and spend in the evening with him, because the shops will be open till late night, 9 o'clock. So the last 3 4 hours to spend with him. And all I used to do was spend some time with him, talk to him, and then stand in the counter and support his team in selling to his customers, TV and refrigerator. Just be part of that, his team, right? And during that time, also observe what are they selling, how are they selling V-Guard and other stabilizers. So after a week, finally, when I again went and approached that, it's time, ek moka, give me one chance, right? He said, okay, you bring in one stabilizer, keep it here, and if you can sell it, I'll think about it. Well, that was an entry for me. I took one stabilizer, and within 1 hour, I could sell it off because I knew what's working there, right? All that. And then obviously, I think I would say a great opportunity. And that entered. And after that, I think Ogol became a big name, especially in the Bangalore market. So I think that was one big learning about persistent approach, right? And being steadfast in what you want. The second message would be around the COVID when it came, right? And I think, just mentioned before also that I knew that business model will change, and obviously it has changed. Everyone started talking about digitization because you were working from home, right? And you have to meet and close sales customer. So the previous, the thoughts around that you have to meet face to face, meetings used to be face to face, you have to come to office, all that change. It's a paradigm shift which happened. And many companies could adopt to faster. So I knew that industry will change, the technology will change, and the way we approach customer will change. So that's when as I told you, that I took an opportunity to get into something completely unrelated to me, AI course with IIM. I had to spend some money, good money from my pocket. I said it's an investment on myself for the future. And I did that. And I think that helped me a big lot because as the game changed, right? I could get into opportunities in head office where I could use my new learned skill in collaborating with external vendors in kind of forming processes, right? And today, if I started this company, I think those dots got clicked from there, where I understood the power of AI with this thing. So it's about upskilling yourself and seeing the trend and jumping into it. It's a risk. It's always a risk, but I took that risk. I would say that. And the third, I would say, is about an opportunity. How do you raise your hand for an opportunity? So this is also again in insurance sector which happened, wherein somewhere around 2010, uh, the industry sector went through a turmoil. Means market started stagnating. There was a drop in the business, and we started closing down offices. Well, it's not a great story, but we started closing down offices. And retrenchment, asking people to go is the toughest thing that you can do. I was in Bombay that point of time, and we had to close multiple offices in that company. So there used to be three regional managers. The said company said now you can have only two regional managers. One person has to move to head office in the strategy role, and the option was given to two people. So, but I was the first one to raise my hand. I said I will go. It meant getting into an office called transformation office, which is something new. There was no idea what is that all about. And moving from Bangalore, from Bombay to Delhi, a new office with family. A lot of risk and a lot of uncomfort situation. You have to move your family and your son's education, all that. I raised my hand without even thinking, and that made all the difference for me because that gave me opportunity to work with people like McKinsey. That gave me an opportunity to get higher roles in the company. So that one big decision to raise my hand of something unknown kind of paved my way for a future growth. So I think these three stories I can think kind of changed some of the way I am today.
Incredible, Mr. Anil. This is really incredible. All right. So, building on to that, our viewers are eager to know now what are some of your career long takeaways that you would like to share with our viewers to help them in their day to day professional life, like takeaways.
Sure. So I'll make it bullet points, and probably just add one or two points to that. So one is about basically shaking the comfort zone. You have to shake your comfort zone to really see your own potential. Otherwise, comfort zone will make you, very, very, uh, you'll limited. So that's one point. And uh, what happens is that you have to see that the ice is melting. Ice is always melting, right? So if you are in the same ice pod, somewhere you will fall off, right? You're very clear about it. So you have to realize which direction is your industry moving, the trends moving, right? And accordingly, take risks. Like I said, I raise my hand. You have to raise your hand sometimes, and sometimes the most uncomfortable routes are where you will find gold hidden there. So you have to unearth that by raising your hand. So shake up your comfort zone is what I would talk to everyone, whether irrespective of the fact whether you are just an incumbent just starting or at any stage. So it doesn't matter. Second is, and this is for the leaders, there's always this conflict between control and delegation, especially if you're managing a team, right? How much should I control and how much should I delegate? It's a very tough question because you want to control because you want things to be done your way, right? You are a perfection freak, right? And sometimes you also feel that if you delegate, right, there's a chance that people may take it lightly. You may not get the result on time, and you'll get suboptimal result. Productivity will drop. So all that is there. I don't have a formula for this, but what I can say is that you have to always manage between control and delegate. You should know, right? So you can't put one stick and say, I will only control or I'll only delegate. You will have to have a good mix based on the people. You need to analyze and understand the skill sets, the experiences, right? That there are people whom you can actually delegate because they like to be told what to be done in terms of direction, and after that, leave them. Don't bother them, right? And there are people where they actually see constant, reminders on what to be done. You need to check the deadlines and all that. And they need value add. So you need to know who are those people. So control and delegation is a beautiful mix which you as a leader have to be an expert in that. When to control, when to delegate, whom to control, and on whom to delegate. I think this is the second big I would think learning I can share. The third I already told you about constantly investing in yourself. I think the best investment that you can do as an individual is not on your big mobiles or big cars or anything else, but on yourself, because rest everything can you will have uh, uh, what do you say, degradation of the value that will happen over time, or if nothing else, the tax will eat it away. But the investment that you do on yourself in terms of knowledge, no tax can touch, right? It can only grow. So I think that is what would advise everyone. Invest in yourself constantly. Again, there is no age for that. There's no age for that. So, like for example, this program is a good example of that, where I have kind of invested myself into it, and I know this will fetch me future of time. And I saw this happening in a very positive way, right? And the next one would say that whatever level you are, right? What happens is that as you move higher, right, there is a gap which you normally say a gap between temperature of 24 degrees versus 42 degrees. Now, what is 24 and 42? 24 is the degree where you are sitting in the head office, right? Cool comfort. And 42 is where the strategies which you form in 24 degrees gets implemented, right? So if you're not aware of what happens in 42 degrees, your 24 degree strategies will not work. So you have to be constantly be aware of what is happening at 42 degrees. And for that, you need to have a formal or informal mechanism of actually reaching out to your team, reaching out to the customers to know what is happening. Otherwise, your team, your first round members will only tell you what you want to hear. They know what you like to hear. They'll tell you that. And you will be happy, okay, everything is happening, taka tak, first class. But no. So that I think stay connected to ground reality, and this 24 and 42-degree gap, I think you should be eliminating that. I think that's what I would say is the next learning. And the last, if you allow me, is the one thing which just happens in a career. And nowadays the careers are getting extended, right? You work, like for example, in corporate, and then you start your own company. So it's a 30, 35, 40 years of career. So in this 30, 35, 40 years of career that you have, guaranteed you will have some ups and downs. Some ups, some downs is guaranteed, right? Take that with a pinch of salt, both. When you're up, remember it will not last. And when you're down, remember it will not last. And when you're up, be ready to teach people, coach people, share. And when you're ready, when you're down, be ready to learn from the mistakes that you do. So can come up. So I think that's the I think 4 or 5 big tips I can tell the budding leaders or anyone who are here listening to me right now.
Amazing takeaways. To quickly sum up, first and foremost thing, break out of your comfort zone. Second thing is take risk. Third thing is invest in yourself. Then comes the 24 degree and 42 degrees formula. And ups and downs are part and parcel of your any professional life or your personal life. So you have to, do with it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
keep
So when
rising,
you're
keep
up,
moving ahead.
when you're up, be have gratitude and coach people. And when you're down, learn from your mistakes.
Amazing, amazing, Mr. Anil. Thank you so much. Okay, so now that we have discussed your career journey, your professional pursuits, roles and responsibilities, challenges, everything, let's move on to the subject of corporate governance and ESG. So here is my next for you. How and when did you realize that you could contribute to the ESG and corporate governance space?
Okay. So I would say it's a emerging thought which I had in my this role which I had in the last 5 6 years. I've been working closely with some distributors, some entrepreneurs, and some big businessmen, and I really coached them, helped them. Some of them have kind of reached out to me for the startups, and what I could see is that okay, there is a need for advice in the board, right? And there is a clearly identified gap on the boards of many companies on the expertise, experience, the domain expertise especially, and diversity. And some of the directors, in fact, I've seen getting extended unwillingly just because there's nobody else to take place there, right? So I could see a gap there. And one more thing which I could see is that ESG, which is the new, I would say, buzzword in the industry, which we are just warming up to, is still a topic which most people don't understand. But now with this BRSR report, which is kind of coming and mandated by government, people are scrambling to understand. But there is a real understanding gap on what ESG means, how my company could, contribute and be sustainable using this ESG formula. So that's one, and I think there is a gap today, I would say, of certified people in the industry as independent directors in the board, right? Because so far it was more of ad hoc by references and stuff like that. But there's a large pool which is pending, and there's a large pool which is getting retiring. Uh, so, uh, so people who are qualified, I think there's a gap. So I think this all put together, I think it gave an idea that yes, this is where I need to be moving it.
Absolutely. Okay. So before we conclude our discussion on this particular subject, I would like to quickly ask you, as an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
Oh, absolutely. So the first and foremost is the industry domain experience that I have for insurance specifically, a health line especially. So that is, I think, a very niche experience I have, which definitely could be useful for many and could be actually used in multiple ways, right? Plus, adding to that, my distribution experience because I am a person from the field. I've toiled hard in the field, so I also understand what are the management team feels in the field, what they do, why they do, right? And that gap I spoke about, the 42 and 24 gap, right? In some way, if a director, independent board understands, then they'll be able to add a lot of value while the discussion is happening. So I think that's where my value would come in, right? And I think third big thing I would say is that being in the industry for the last 25 years, my own connect and connection with the top brasses, with the industry experts, I think that for me that would help in any board that I'm joining to help in collaborate, bring in best in class technologies, best in class know-hows, into the board, and ask the relevant questions on the board when I see things. So I think that way I could add a lot of value to the board.
Absolutely. Strong corporate governance is the backbone of sustainable growth. All right. So now let's move on. Let's move ahead and let's talk something about technology. Huh? So, what are some of the most remarkable changes you have seen in your field with changes in technology? That is part A. And B is what changes do you expect to see with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, big data, Web 3.0, etc., etc.
Yeah, very relevant question. And because my new company, which I've kind of formed, is basis Genesis. or that only, the technology which is now kind of prevalent across, right? So I'll stick to my industry right now, which is the insurance and health sector. Where do I see this kind of enhancing the industry experience? One is, the life insurance is all about, you need a lot of, we'll say life insurance, there's a lot of documents. When you buy a life insurance policy, you'll get a 15-page document, and you really don't understand what is there in that, right? So it's very
Actually,
cumbersome and for like that. You get little afraid. What is this all about, right? So there's a huge opportunity to simplify it, make it uncomplicated, right? By using technology. So how do you kind of ensure that the customer gets, very easily understandable a document, one pager, stuff like that. So, and instead of having a document to be kept at home, can you use it for? I think there are some companies which are now thinking about using tech to bring in the entire document and key features of your policy on a card. You just scan the card like a QR code scan. It can come up to you. So you just take it as you need it. Something like that. The second one is about the documentation of a customer, right? If you go to buy any health policy, there's a lot of policy. You need a KYC, address proof, this proof, that proof, and then you to sign it. So technology has now actually changed it. So over the last 3-4 years, most companies are actually now made it digital. So that is a big change is happening. So if the customer interface is easy, the journey has become faster, and user interface become very better. So I think that's where the technology is coming, and linking it to the lead generation. So as a salesperson also, right? Previously going meeting, keeping track of lead, then connecting lead to the customer, all that has become one big cycle using technology. So you have beautiful interfaces. For most companies today, have good onboarding LMS technology and customer onboarding technology, which is using that. Third, I think big use of, I would say, blockchain as well as artificial intelligence is in risk profiling of customers, right? And simplifying in underwriting, because you have to underwrite good cases on your books. That's how the reality is. And using blockchain, using AI, using the past trend, you'll be able to kind of throw up better profile for underwriting yourself, right? And this also could be forwarded on the moment of truth, as you call it, for health or life insurance, is the claim settlement. So you can do faster claim settlement, better claim settlement, and fraud detection can happen using AI and the technologies along that. The last I would say is that, which is my own company, which is Geras, which I am building, where I am kind of using AI to help industry customers bring in health parameters right on your screen just by a simple scan, right? Using the PPG technology. So we are just building on that, kind of cater to specific customer needs. But senior living industry, life insurance industry, health industry, and many other industries where health, wellness, or the you need to underwrite health risk on board. I think you can use this technology completely revolutionize the way we are doing the business. So I think this is what I'm seeing, the big changes that's happening in industry. Going forward, you can also see that, could be continuous improvement. For example, normally when you buy a life insurance, whether you buy a motor insurance or whether you buy health insurance, the premiums are fixed. However, it's possible that today when I am kind of taking insurance, I'm a little obese, I'm a smoker, but over a period of time, I may quit smoking. I bring my health in control, but I'm still paying the old premium, which was based on my previous. So if I have a continuous monitoring of my health through a wearable or technology like Geras, then the company say, okay, hey, this guy has improved. So therefore, there's an opportunity for me to reduce the premium. Similarly, you can use technology in, let's say, in your car. You bought a car, you're insuring the car, but there's one guy who's a rash driver. There's another guy who's an extremely good driver, right? So why should both be given the same premium? The rash driver should be priced higher, but the guy who's driving good should be priced lower. This can happen through use of technology, continuous monitoring of your driving, right, and the live data going to the insurance companies. These kind of technologies are coming, which will completely change the industry landscape.
Mr. Anil, that was really insightful of you. and it was very enlightening too for our customers and our viewers and audiences. So, the kind of experience that you have shared, the kind of insights that you have shared, all the challenges that you have shared, and how you have overcome them. It's fantastic, enlightening session we are having today. Okay, so this brings us to the last question of the session, and here it is. We are building a community of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. So, what are your thoughts about these initiatives taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the whole team of World Development Corporation?
I think, Sunny, you answered it in your question itself, right? You're bringing together industry magnates and solvers, right? So I think kudos to WDC, kudos to you, Zishan, Heval, for all of you for bringing such a great concept. Because there's a, as I was telling before, there's a big experienced and certified people on the board, right? And I think industry is also looking at an opportunity like this where you're providing. So I think what you're trying to do is a big help to Indian corporates, no doubt about it. And I see that from where you are right now, I think in years to come, this could actually build into multiple bigger where you kind of coach and train and kind of understand from industry what they want, right? And accordingly, specific programs can create, collaborate with the best in class, not only in India but worldwide, and bring that into the boardroom, right? So I see WDC being talked about in industry corporate boardrooms very soon. So big kudos to all of you for the foresight on the gap and bringing something like this. And personally, thank you for me being part of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you, Mr. Anil Varghese, for joining us today. Wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute has unquestionably expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds.
Absolutely. Wishing you all the best. And I think I'm looking forward to play a big role in some of the company boards as and when it happens. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a nice day.
Thank you.